Vous croyez que dans l'Union européenne, il y a de la volonté politique pour changer ce système?
Non. En apparence, oui. Un mouvement de fond, au niveau de la Commission européenne, non, à part Margrethe Vestager, qui lance des enquêtes. Mais quand vous voyez que le président de la Commission européenne, Jean-Claude Juncker, a été ministre du Luxembourg pendant 19 ans, ministre des Finances, au moment le plus fort des rulings, les années 2000, c'est totalement aberrant. Donc, on ne peut pas demander à quelqu'un qui déclare « je suis politiquement responsable » en parlant de LuxLeaks, qu'il change à la fois les règles du jeu européennes et à la fois les règles du jeu de son pays.
Why is it always Luxembourg that is attacked and criticized? If that is taking place on British soil, has been taking place forever. Why is it that France and the Netherlands can enact a relatively favorable regime to anyone who is settling on their islands, from Corsica to the Caribbean again?
Sure. It's not only about Luxembourg. Germany, for example, is a paradise for money laundering in real estate. Everybody knows it.
Not everything that we practiced at the time was morally sound, but nothing of what we practiced at the time was legally wrong.
Well, tax optimization is legal, but it's only legal because we allow it to be legal, because we create so many options to optimize taxation. What does optimize taxation mean? It means that Apple in Ireland in 2014 paid 0.005% on its profits, which is 50 euros for every million euro earned with iPhones, iPads, and so on.
It's deeply immoral. It's unacceptable what they are doing. The European Commission a few months ago decided to ask Ireland, as one of the places where Apple has his seat, to ask them, please pay your taxation. So Europe is delivering. Europe is forcing the member states to do the necessary steps to have a fair treatment on taxation.
Το προσέξατε πόσο ο Βέμπερ έλεγε και ξαναλέγε για την Apple, έτσι. Το χρησιμοποιούν ως το απόλυτο παράδειγμα για το πώς κινητοποιήθηκε η Ευρωπαϊκή Επιτροπή.
Έχω την απόφαση της Κομισιόν, βγήκε πριν από 4-5 μήνες και λέει ότι οι φόροι που χάρισε η Ιρλανδία στην Apple αντιστοιχούν σε 13 δισεκατομμύρια και καλεί την Ιρλανδική κυβέρνηση να τα εισπράξει, γιατί όπως λέει αποτελούν παράνομη κρατική ενίσχυση. Δεν τα εισπράττει όμως η Ιρλανδία. Ίσα-ίσα προσέφηκε στο Ευρωπαϊκό Δικαστήριο κατά της Κομισιόν και της απόφασής της μαζί με την Apple.
People in Ireland are suffering because hospitals are shutting down. And then it's in this building that there's a debate about the fact that the Irish government does not want to collect 17 billion euro of tax that is owed by Apple. There are people starving in Ireland, there are people freezing in Ireland, but the government doesn't want to collect 17 billion euro.
The question is that for the moment everybody has to know that taxation, the legislation behind taxation, is a national responsibility. So Europe has no right to regulate taxation for the moment. Only unanimously. We can only decide unanimously when all 28 member states together decide on this. And that is mainly impossible.
Πράγματι, η φορολογική πολιτική, σας θυμίζω, ότι είναι ένα από τα τελευταία οχυρά στα οποία η κάθε κυβέρνηση υποτίθεται ότι έχει το δικαίωμα απόλυτης εξουσίας, εκτός από την Ελλάδα.
Ένα χρόνο μετά τα LuxLeaks έγιναν άλλες 172 συμφωνίες, αν θυμάμαι καλά. Παρά το γεγονός ότι τα LuxLeaks είχαν τέτοια απήχηση.
The number of advanced tax rulings are increased.
Can be. I don't know. I'm not ruling.
What can the government do about it?
I'm not in government.
I know, but what should the government do about that?
I don't think the government should do much about it because the government pretends that it's an administration that does it. I'm absolutely in favor of drying up the swamp. But if we dry up the swamp, we dry it up entirely. We don't dry up just the European part of it, or just the Luxembourgish, or just the Benelux part of it.
Ο τρίτος πληροφοριοδότης είναι ο Τζόναθαν Σούγκαρμαν. Δούλευε στην Ιρλανδική Unicredit και το 2007, έχει σημασία η χρονιά, πήγε στη ρυθμιστική αρχή και κατήγγειλε ότι η τράπεζα μαγείρευε τους ισολογισμούς της.
Και μετά κατέρευσαν οι Ιρλανδικές τράπεζες.
Μόλις 14 μήνες μετά. Και η Ιρλανδία μπήκε στο μνημόνιο. Λόγω των τραπεζών και όχι του δημόσιου χρέους, αυτό δημιουργήθηκε όταν πήγε να διασώσει τις τράπεζες και εγγυήθηκε τις καταθέσεις.
I was the risk manager for Unicredito Italiano Dublin's operation in 2007. Unicredit is the biggest bank in Italy. It owns Bank Austria Kreditanstalt. We are talking about a very large bank. My crime, my only crime, was to comply with Irish law. I walked broad daylight, walked down to the regulator's office, the Central Bank of Ireland, and said, I am breaking the law. I am signing for billions that do not exist. I was punished severely. I have not been able to work for 9 years. People talk about the crisis of 2008, but naturally in the banks, in the banking system, we knew what was going on. In fact, it was a bit of a game of, do you know the game the children play of pass the parcel? Who will get caught with a parcel? And it was a matter of time. When I did meet with the Central Bank of Ireland, the Central Bank threatened to hand me over to the prosecutor. Not the bank for committing a crime, but me for telling the bank about the crime, telling the Central Bank about the crime. It might have something to do with the fact that the chairman of my bank in Ireland, after this happened, after I reported a breach of billions, was appointed as a director to the Central Bank of Ireland. It must have been in 2008 when the entire Irish banking system ran dry of liquidity, and overnight the Irish government put in place a bank guarantee for any amount for any depositor. To this day, we don't know why. The Irish governments have since then tried to claim that they were pushed into it by the ECB. Yes, no, yes, no. I think that we've gone through several threshold moments, several moments that from a point of view of risk analysis were never going to happen. The fact that the German Republic is now issuing homologa with a negative interest rate is, how do you say in Greek, apistefto. Why would you give the German government €1 billion knowing that you'll get back 997 million? Why would you do that? If I told you this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, that people were willing to do that, you would say that would never happen. And that just shows you how sick the system is. People are willing to place money with the German government knowing that they will get back less.
Δηλαδή οι ελεκτικοί μηχανισμοί απέτυχαν παταγωδώς. Εάν ο ελεκτής ταυτίζεται με τον ελεγχόμενο, συμβαίνει αυτό.
Ξέρετε, αυτό στις Βρυξέλλες το ονομάζουν το φαινόμενο της περιστρεφόμενης πόρτας. Δηλαδή για να περιγράψουν την κινητικότητα των αξιωματούχων από τη θέση των κυβερνώντων στο τιμόνι επιχειρηματικών κολοσσών ή τραπεζών.
Σαν τον Μπαρόζο καλή ώρα που πήγε στην Goldman Sachs. Κάτι ανάλογο περιγράφει και ο Έρικ Μπενάρτζι που ήταν ο πληροφοριοδότης για την Deutsche Bank.
What I realized slowly over the first few months working at Deutsche Bank was that effectively Deutsche Bank was mismarking its books, was inflating its balance sheet, hiding losses. It really pretended to have assets that it didn't really have. So they inflated the value, and we're not talking about just exposure. It's not just risk. It's actual valuation. So they inflated the value by more than $10 billion at the peak of the crisis. Later on, by 2011, I estimate that it was probably more in the hundreds of millions. Eventually, I went to the finance department, to the accountants, and that's when I realized when I spoke to the person, there was one specific person in the finance department responsible for the valuation that goes into the financial reporting of Deutsche Bank. I spoke to that person, and he confirmed my suspicions, and that's when I went to the SEC and I went internally to the hotline.
So how did Deutsche Bank respond?
I was fired. The lawyer, the head of compliance, who I think was responsible, I'm pretty sure, although I don't have direct evidence, it's pretty clear that he was responsible for firing me. He also denied that there was any problem. He was responsible for the investigation that concluded that Deutsche Bank did nothing wrong. He became the chief counsel of the SEC in the middle.
So from ODT, he became auditor.
Yes. Yes. He became from lawyer for the potential defendant to lawyer for the potential prosecutor. Yes. I don't think the fact that Deutsche Bank did not report the losses in 2008 or 2009 or 2010 or 2011, I don't think that, I think that's connected to the fact that Europe did not really recover in the subsequent years.
Θάψανε την υπόθεση για 3 χρόνια. Δηλαδή το σκάνδαλο της Deutsche Bank βγήκε όταν ο Έρικ αποφάσισε να δώσει το ρεπορτάζ στους Financial Times. Και μετά πέσαν τα πρόστιμα.
Είναι σαφές πλέον. Νομίζω ότι το παραδέχονται όλοι. Ότι έχουμε έναν ακήρυχτο επιχειρηματικό πόλεμο ανάμεσα στην Αμερική και στην Ευρώπη, δηλαδή τη Γερμανία. Δεν είναι τυχαίο ότι στην Αμερική βγήκε και το σκάνδαλο της Volkswagen.
Ναι, γιατί η Αμερική έκανε πρώτη ένα πρόγραμμα ποσοτικής χαλάρωσης, έριξε δηλαδή χρήμα στις τράπεζες η Fed, η Ομοσπονδιακή Τράπεζα, για να ανακάμψει συνολικά το σύστημα. Και ήρθε η Deutsche Bank, μάζεψε το χαρτί, το φθηνό χρήμα και συνέχισε και τα τοξικά παράγωγα.
Η Fed, η Κεντρική Ομοσπονδιακή Τράπεζα, προκειμένου να αντιμετωπίσει τις συνέπειες της κρίσης του 2008, μείωσε στο 0 τα επιτόκια και τύπωνε χρήμα και έδινε στις τράπεζες προκειμένου να αντιμετωπίσουν, να κλείσουν τις μαύρες τρύπες. Αυτό ήταν κάτι το οποίο διευκόλυνε πάρα πολύ την Deutsche Bank και άλλες ευρωπαϊκές τράπεζες, δεδομένου ότι τα στοιχεία που υπάρχουν αυτή τη στιγμή, και είναι δημόσια βέβαια, δείχνουν πως το δεύτερο πρόγραμμα ποσοτικής χαλάρωσης της Fed έχει απορροφηθεί στο μεγαλύτερο βαθμό του από τις ευρωπαϊκές τράπεζες. Και βέβαια όχι για την Ευρώπη, αλλά για τις διεθνείς δραστηριότητες τους.
Πότε άρχισε να γκρεμίζεται και με ποιον τρόπο ο μύθος της ισχυρής Deutsche Bank?
Όταν πλέον οι εποπτικές αρχές, να το πούμε έτσι, κυρίως οι αμερικάνικες, δεδομένου ότι είχαν εφαρμόσει άλλα κριτήρια στην Αμερική μετά το 2008 για τις αμερικάνικες τράπεζες, άρχισαν να εφαρμόζουν τα ίδια κριτήρια ελέγχου και εποπτείας και σε όλες τις τράπεζες οι οποίες ήταν παρούσες στην αμερικάνικη αγορά.
This first came out with the Financial Times, my story. I worked for several months with reporters of the Financial Times. So they spent several months, and then at the end of 2012, in December 2012, they published it.
3 former employees accusing Deutsche Bank of covering up billions of dollars of derivative losses during the financial crisis. Deutsche Bank is denying these allegations.
The actual investigators at the SEC, the ones at the level of the ones who actually looked at the problem itself, were quite good, and they did their job.
This morning, Deutsche Bank has settled allegations from the SEC that it materially misstated its financial accounts during the financial crisis.
I was offered an award as a percentage of that fine, but the fine, and I said that I would just gladly take the award if it came from the pockets of the executives.
How big was the award?
The award was out of a fine of $55 million. This was a little over $8 million.
And you said no?
I said no. I said yes only if I get it from the executives, not from the shareholders. No. The fine was imposed on the shareholders, on the bank. Ultimately, those who shoulder the fine are going to be the taxpayers, because if Deutsche Bank, even if it's not explicitly bailed out, it receives indirect subsidies from the state. And when I say the state, I mean every state. This goes, whether they have access to Fed loans in the U.S., to Germany, to Greece. I felt like someone who witnessed a robbery, called the police. The police showed up, and the cops were just were the thieves, were the guys who just robbed the victim, and they come, and instead of punishing the criminal who's themselves, instead they went and robbed the victim again, and they're offering me You know, they're going through the wallet and giving me a few dollars out of the wallet so that I'd shut up. And I refuse to do that. And I don't want to be part of that. I'm a whistleblower. I'm not a bounty hunter. I didn't do this for the money. I did it because I think that corruption, especially in the large banks, is a risk to the world.
Υπάρχουν εναντίον της Deutsche Bank περίπου ή 7.800 μηνύσεις, κατηγορίες τέτοιες, ή 8.700, δεν θυμάμαι το νούμερο ακριβώς. Χαρακτηριστικό είναι το τελευταίο πρόστιμο στο οποίο υπήρξε συμβασμός, που αρχικά ήταν για 14 δισεκατομμύρια, το οποίο τελικά συμφωνήθηκε να είναι στα 7,2 δισεκατομμύρια. Πρόσφατα, σε μια ανάλυση που ο επικεφαλής του τμήματος ανάλυσης Deutsche Bank δημοσίευσε, εκφράζεται με τα πλέον θετικά σχόλια για την εκλογή Τραμπ. Λέει λοιπόν ότι θα είναι πάρα πολύ καλύτερα τώρα με τον Τραμπ, γιατί ο Τραμπ έχει εξαγγείλει ότι θέλει να χαλαρώσει και πάλι τους εποπτικούς μηχανισμούς στο τραπεζικό σύστημα. Κάτι το οποίο είχε αντιστραφεί μετά το 2008 σε μια προσπάθεια να ελεγχθεί η κρίση του χρέους κτλ. Εάν αυτό συμβεί, τότε πραγματικά η Deutsche Bank έχει κάθε λόγο να χαίρεται.